Okay, I'll make it 7 o'clock, so we'll get going. I know it's a different day, so there's not too many people. Well, it says me. It's a different day, so there's not too many people here. Okay, so what we're going to do today, if you've watched the previous 2 sessions that we've done, we've looked at doing basic intervals, so 5 minutes on, 1 minute off, etc. We've also looked at pyramiding, okay, which is building up the intensity bit by bit until you peak, and then reducing it again, and then if you've got time to build it up, okay. So what we're going to do today is going to do something slightly different. It's going to be 40 minutes. It's going to be a progressive ride. So what that's going to be is we're going to basically do this for 40 minutes. So every 5 minutes, we're going to jump up intensity. Okay. So the first 5 minutes will be incredibly low. And actually the last 5 minutes will be a cool down. And we're actually going to peak at 30 minutes. Okay. That's going to be our big effort. Okay. So we're going to go up. Okay. So for 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay. They're going to be building up. Then the 25, we're going to go hard. And then 30 and 35, we reduce it and we finish at 40. Okay. Within our little big effort, our big 5 minutes, we're going to do a little 1 minute effort for so forth. Okay. Now we're going to go through thresholds. I'm going to talk to you as I'm on the bike. Okay. Again, slightly different setup today because I'm annoying our neighbors. I think by speaking loudly. So I've closed the windows and the blinds. So I'm going to get very, very hot, but that doesn't matter. And also I've had to raise my bike up ever so slightly. So my head might pop off the screen. So I might adjust it ever so slightly. Okay. Also, disclaimer, you may have seen, those of you who don't know me, my bike is a little bit broken, okay, in the bearings, so I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But what we're going to do, we're going to spend 5 minutes to get warmed up, and we're going to get I'm going to get going now, okay? So, for the first 5 minutes, look at that, ride, land, stash within ride, land, stash, okay? For the first 5 minutes, just so you know, because I'm going to jump on my bike, you want to start warming up now, okay, which can be a low intensity, really, really relaxed as we build it up every 5 minutes, okay? So, as you can see, my bike is incredibly high now. So I've got no excuses there. Can't see my video. There we go. Okay, so our first 5 minutes, okay, I've already checked it. I'm on a low gear, okay? So we're going to be spinning for 5 minutes, nice and gentle. So, as I said, every 5 minutes, we're going to build this up, okay? Now, the way we're going to do it is, some of you here may have knowledge of training zones. Some of you may not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a more advanced and a basic version, okay? So we'll start basic. We're going to imagine there are essentially 5 different intensities. The first one being super relaxed. The first one, sorry, my Garmin stopped there for a second. The first one being super relaxed, okay? So essentially what you're doing when you're doing nothing, you're at rest, you're walking, you're at home, whatever. And the fifth one being absolute maximum effort, okay? So what we're going to do throughout this is we're going to build this up. So we're not going to spend any time in zone 1, obviously. And then we're going to go upper and lower of each intensity, okay? So we're going to go lower zone 2, upper zone 2, lower zone 3, upper zone 3, etc. We're not going to go maximum at all, okay? Because if we go maximum, well, we are a little bit, but that's the choice. If we go maximum, we go into the anaerobic zone, which is a sprint. But I am going to give you a little opportunity to do that later. Those of us with more knowledge of heart rate zones. So zone 1, well, whatever source you're using, you could be using British Cycling, you could be using your G6 book, whatever. Whatever zone you're looking at, what I'm going to do is I'm going to refer to 5 basic zones. I got 6, okay, but there are 5. Zone 1 is your rest, and zone 5 is obviously your anaerobic, maximum effort. What we're going to be doing is going through the zones, but without zone 1, and we're going upper and lower. So you would know that either through a lactate threshold heart rate test, which is the more accurate, or through the basic maximum heart rate, which is 220 minus your age. Now, guys, that's a terrible, terrible way to do it, but it does it if you're running short. So, for example, my maximum heart rate, I'm 36 years old. my maximum heart rate would be 220 minus 36, which is 184. I have, in events, when testing my maximum heart rate, got well above 200. No problem. And in fact, when I PB'd in 5K last year, my average heart rate was 185. So that shows you how accurate that test is. Okay? So it's better to do a lactate threshold heart rate test. If you're not sure what that is, British Cycling do a good description. It's been something I'm thinking about describing, doing a video on. But obviously I would like to get outside to do some footage for that. So 3 minutes in. Okay. So 2 minutes to go till we step it up. So my bike, yeah. Okay, so full disclaimer, or another disclaimer, I sweat a lot. A lot of you have been training with me will see it. And the first few sessions, I didn't have a towel on my handlebars. So I sweated onto my headset. Now, normally that's not a problem, once or twice. But since I had our little baby, I've been doing a lot of indoor training. And then obviously with the lockdown, that was accentuated. So when you sweat, obviously water got into my headset bearings and rusted them. Now, I'm going to have to replace the headset bearings, which is a €30, 30-minute job, if your local bike shop is open. If not, you have to pray to the gods that the website you've ordered from will deliver, and then it's the right one. Okay? In 45 seconds, we're going to step up. It doesn't matter too much, other than my steering is very, very, should we say, gritty, and I'm not going to be able to react quickly to any obstacles in the road. Okay? So, in 30 seconds, we're going to be stepping up the intensity. So on this one, you're looking at kind of low zone 3, high zone 2. So it should be an aerobic one. So to put it into context, this is a warm-up. You can do this all day. The next zone, which we're going to be starting in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. So we're going to step it up now. This is your long duration aerobic zone, okay? So this is something you'd be doing for, a 4 or 5 hour ride. I know they're in intervals and that you go up, you go down, you race the road signs, etc. But imagine you're on your own, you're on a flat ride. This is the kind of intensity you're working at. So I'm going, at the moment, at 26 kilometers an hour, nice and steady, because we're going to save it up as we go each time. Now, as I said, these first 2 are fairly easy, or they should be. As we step it up, we get harder and harder. Now, when we peak in our progressive ride, although it's a 5-minute block, we're going to be doing it, our peak one, as 4 minutes in our kind of sweet spot, our threshold, and 1 minute flat out. Now, the good thing about the flat out effort is that will force your body to adapt, and that's the one that's going to improve performance, give you that little bit of a buffer for that lactic acid. So, our 5-minute peak, which we're going to hit in about 25 minutes, that's the one where we're going to be in that threshold area, where it's going to be burning, we're going to be breathing heavy, we're going to start to feel fatigue on the legs with lactic acid. And that's important that we do, and it's important that that happens. Because if you're not putting that effort in, you're not getting the benefit. It doesn't matter how fast you're going. It matters how much effort you personally are putting in. Because obviously there's lots of different people here with lots of different backgrounds. Quite frankly, it's been a long, long time due to family commitments since I've done anything over 100K. So I know where my level's at. Quite punchy still. Can't climb very well because I weigh nearly 90 kilos. That's an exaggeration. quick on the flat. But that's the level I'm at the moment. So when I'm doing that 5-minute work, I'm looking at doing 45, 50 kilometers an hour on this thing. So obviously this is the non-resistant. It's like a rolling road, this is non-resistant. I think Darren's joining us. I don't know if he's doing it on rollers. If you are, mate, I hope you're coping all right. When the intensity ramps up, so does the difficulties to stay on them. Absolute rascals, these things. But, you know, they do a bit of core stability as well. I'm finding that when I sit on a turbo, nothing wrong with it. I really enjoy my turbo. I can get a little bit complacent, hands off. It's just like an exercise bike. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, especially in the current situation. On the rollers, concentration has to raise. I have to focus my balance. It improves my bike handling skills. And I'll never forget, I don't know if they're watching, I can't see viewers here. My viewers are whited out. I'll never forget, many years ago, I think I was just getting into cycling or triathlon. Then my uncle was telling me a story. He coaches cycling about his oldest son. I know his youngest is just as talented. We were talking about rollers. And he said, this lad could jump onto rollers and jump off of rollers. Now, for me, I can jump in a road bike, no problem. I like to jump the curb. But for me, that sounds ridiculous. 1 minute and we're going to ramp it up. Obviously, he's riding now at a very, very high level. I'd love to say it runs in the family, but unfortunately, he's not related by blood, so I haven't quite got that in me yet. Okay, so for the next 5 minutes, so in 45 seconds, we're going to ramp it up. For the next 5 minutes, you're going to hit your high aerobic zone. So you're kind of like your high zone 3. This is your zone where you should feel yourself working. Imagine you're going on a 2-hour ride, keeping a steady pace. You want to make sure you get a good time, but you're not going out the zone. So we're going to go in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go. So I'm ramping it up. So now we're beginning to work hard. Sorry, my Garmin is giving me a funny gait today. So I'm doing about 28 kilometers an hour now. Nothing special. Because the next zone, we'll be bumping it up and up, okay? The next zone will be broaching zone 4. So what that means is we'll be looking at riding an intensity where we'll be at a race level. Then we're looking at middle to zone 4, where you're looking at essentially a time trial kind of level. So imagine you're doing, I don't know, a 30-minute time trial or a 15-mile time trial, whatever. And then for our maximum, you're looking at threshold. So the way that's going to feel is if you're, I don't know, an event, a sportif, and you're being dragged along by a big group, and you're desperate to stay on, and you're giving it everything you've got for a long period of time, that's going to be your kind of zone 4, your at threshold. The other way around, you could be at the front of that group, trying to lose the people behind you. Something very common in triathlon. As a lot of people will sit behind you, knowing that they're going to be conserving energy when you get off for the run. And sometimes if you get in a group which is faster than you can't take your turn at the front. So essentially you're getting a free ride. And we don't like that in racing. Because a free ride often leads to that person who may be a stronger runner overtaking you. Just getting a nice clicking sound from my bike. Not too sure what that is. Sounds like the frame probably giving up after 85 kilograms. So 2.5 minutes at this zone, and then we're going to be ramping up to your kind of low end zone 4. This one, this session's an interesting one, really. I'm trying to give you different sessions each time that you can try at home. So your bog standard intervals, there is such a thing, which is work hard for, I don't know, 5 minutes, rest for 1, or whatever your ratio is. And then there's also your pyramiding. This one's slightly more difficult. And I think it's because it's pitching your intensities. So normally, and some of you might have access to this, you'd be doing this with a heart rate monitor, or even better, a power meter. I'm doing it with neither today. I do have a heart rate monitor. But I feel if I'm looking at my data, not really coaching or helping lead this session. So I'm going to do it by feel. There's nothing wrong by feel. I remember doing a race. A very, very experienced racer, whoopsie daisy, a very, very experienced racer said to me, as we were, I think, we were coming off the bike, and you know, I'm a fairly good runner. Well, let's hope no one who knows me heard me say that. So we were coming off the bike, he said to me, I'm there, you know, getting ready to smash the lap button on my Garmin. And he said, Lewis, just run how you feel. And that lasted about 5 seconds until I turned my watch on again. And there's one thing I learned from that. It's about feeling in your legs and your lungs how hard you should be working. And the great thing about technology is, like the Garmin, in 30 seconds we're going to step it up, is it does everything for you. Heart rate, power, speed, distance, whatever. But you lose that sensation of feel, which is really important, especially in events where you might not know the course, you might not know what's coming, you might be trying to employ some form of tactics to ensure you're working hard at the early stages or whatever. So feel is really important. Right, I'm going to step up now. Okay. So now, in our 4th set, we're looking at our low end of zone 4. So now your breathing should be getting heavier. You should be beginning to feel that lactic acid. Well, no, you shouldn't actually, that's a lie. You should be beginning to feel slightly fatigued. And you should feel as though you are working. The first 15 minutes are kind of a build-up. Now we're stepping up, something that's like a race here. So for me, I'm going to one at 31 kilometers an hour. So that's a lie, 33. I think that's probably quite low for me. And I should be working harder. I am fairly conscious of talking. I am very conscious of being able to talk through the session. So please make sure you work at your own level. A good test, as you kind of enter this area, is talk. If you can do 3 words at a time or so, you're kind of at the right intensity. If you can hold a full-on conversation like me, you're not working hard enough. Or you can't speak at all, you're working too hard. But you can certainly feel the intensity going. I'm stepping up gears each time. A little bit worried to run out of gears. We'll soon see. So another theory behind this session is that, you can see actually I'm working quite hard now. A disclaimer here before I say this. I can't actually see my data. My Garmin is on a setting where it turns off every 3 seconds, which I sometimes use. And you know, good preparation, I forgot to change it. So anyway, If you feel like you're working too hard, take it back. Like I said, if you feel you can step up, step it up. So the whole idea of this session is that as you get tired, you work harder. We're halfway through this set, by the way. As you get tired, you work harder. Okay? And you say, what's the point of that? Well, the point is, it's important to get your body used to working when fatigued. Because if you're working when fatigued, that's what's going to drive your fitness up. We could go into the boringness of adaptations, but let's keep it simple and just say this. If your body feels like what it's doing, that your body can't actually meet the demands of that task, it will change. If your body says, well, finding this hard, I'm going to change that, it's going to release more chemicals, more hormones. It's very basic, by the way. So make sure the next time, or in the future, you're better at it. And that leads to things like more red blood cells, increased muscle hypertrophy, all these kind of things. And the big one in cyclists we're interested in is red blood cells. So the more oxygen your body thinks it needs at your working muscles, the more red blood cells it's going to produce to compensate that up to a certain level. And then we start getting into the Lance Armstrong territories. Okay, 1 more minute. Already halfway through. Okay. So for this one, we're now going proper zone 4. So now, talking will be a struggle. Now, you will feel it in your quadriceps. You will feel your breathing rate go up, and you will begin to stare at your handlebars more. Not elbows out like Chris Froome. Can't do that because I'm going to struggle. So we're going to go up in 10 seconds. And to proper zone 4 stuff now. Ready? 4, 3, 2, 1, bang. Okay, so now you can see instantly my body position has begun to change. I'm dipping more into a racing form. I've got a bigger gear. It's harder to maintain my cadence. But this isn't the biggest, the hardest one. The hardest set is your next 5. So for your next 5, you're going to be breathless. Not because you've seen the person you love. Rob, I can see you've written a message. I can't read it from here. I have to check it out. Not because of the person you love, but because you're going to be working right at the peak of your threshold. And you should feel it. What you can see now, for me, getting a whole sentence out is beginning to be a bit of a struggle. Remember, in our big effort, we're actually going to do a mini set. So we're going to do 4 big and 1 maximum. So it depends what you're doing now. So now, I'm working slightly less hard than I should be. I'm putting on 37, 36 kilometers an hour. Again, this is a no resistance road. Well, there is resistance because my tires are dying. Have consistency as well. Try and hold your technique. As you can see, as you fatigue, or as I'm beginning to fatigue, I'm losing my form. And it's sending my bike across the rollers left and right. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next big set. So halfway through this set, or just under halfway, So after this, we've got 15 minutes to go. Trying to take shine off our last big 5, which is next. Now I'm a little bit apprehensive now. Now that my bike's been raised, I'm about 10 centimeters off the floor. I don't know if you can see that. If I fall, I can't put my feet down, so I'm going hard. Especially considering my steering doesn't work. It's going to be an interesting one. And the windows are closed, so I'm sweating more. Oh, there we go. 2 minutes to go. So I'm doing about 80 cadence at the moment. Like I said before, the way I'm raising my intensity on rollers, because my rollers are cheap, they're very cheap. And the reason I have them, or chose these, is because I've got a turbo trainer, but it's at our beach house, which obviously I can't get to with the lockdown. So I was able to get this cheap pair of rollers before the law set in. So I can't adjust resistance or anything here. So the way I'm manipulating my resistance is I'm maintaining the same cadence, but lifting it up a gear each time. It's an effective strategy. Wouldn't recommend it. Much recommend a turbo, but rollers are a bit more fun, especially when you're not looking at a camera. So what we got left? Right, 45 seconds, and then we're going to be hitting hard. So remember, our next set of 5 is 4 minutes threshold. So in that little tingly zone where things hurt, and then 1 minute flat out. Now you're going to see me after the 4 minutes stop, because I need to sort my Garmin out. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go. So now we're at threshold. Cadence stays the same. For me, gearing's up, resistance is up. So now I'm hitting about 40. So we're doing this for 4 minutes. So this is the one. As I said, I'm doing it slightly less. You should not be talking. 1 word. Water, beer, love, help. You should be really on that zone where you're feeling it. I tested this session yesterday, and 4 minutes was a hell of a long time. A hell of a long time. But that's what makes it good. And then just when you think you're up, you got that 1 minute big. Splits out though, doesn't it? Like 3 minutes of this intensity, and then you're going 1 minute hard. Good thing you can do, and I can't do it today, is again, if you do this session, to take your 1 minute and see how far you can go. You'd be surprised. But you wouldn't if you're good at maths. Really picking up now. Even me here who's talking, I can feel it. Now after we've done this 1 minute effort, we're going to drop down. But not much. We're going to drop down to zone 3, the top end. So we're still going to work hard as though we're on a 100k long race. But we are not resting until the last 5. Because if we drop it down straight away, we lose the benefit of our progression. So after this 1 minute, when you drop it down, you need to imagine you're in a long race, 100k odd, and you're going well, not spinning up. For some of us, a long race might be 30k. That's great. We shouldn't be in the zone 4. We should not be touching thresholds. Right, 1 more minute at this speed. Again, we're doing about 40. Now, the zones we're talking about vary from sport to sport. Whether it's 5, 6 or whatever. I quite like the British cycling ones. 6 zones with a sweet spot. You do it all for free. If it's something you fancy, go onto the British cycling website and look at heart rate calculator. 30 seconds to the big effort. And it will do all your zones for you after you do a little test. I think it's really good. And it's something I use both personally and with quite a few people in my group. 10 seconds. We're going for 1 minute all out. Ready? 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go. Flat out. Again, slightly less for me so I can talk. You certainly should not be talking. Nearly halfway. That's it, halfway. Just trying to touch 50. I was doing 50 yesterday here. See if I can get there. 20 seconds. Keep going. Last 10. Give it everything. Let's go. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Right, drop it down for zone 3. So it's not a spin. So for me, I'm still doing about 32 kilometers an hour on this flat road. So we peaked. Now we're doing a bit of base work before we do a cool down. So this zone 3 section here, this kind of like long duration, solid intensity after a big effort is great because you're fatigued, your legs are heavy, they're gagging for oxygen, and so you're giving it to them, but slowly. So this simulates what this like kind of 10-minute fit for those of us who race, and I use the term loosely for me. Imagine you're in a group. You're working really hard to stay as a group, and then the group splits. There's a group breaking off the front, and you're not in it. So that 1 minute big effort is about you bridging. Bridging is called, okay? Where you're getting from your group to the group in front. And then when you get there, you can't stop. Of course not. What you can do is get on the back, get a little ride for a bit to recover. This is what this 5 minutes simulates. So our 4 minutes is us in a big group. Our 1 minute is us bridging the split. And now we're with that group. So in about 3 minutes, just under, we're going to drop it down for a recovery 5. which is your cool down. So 2.5 minutes to go. So in your cool down, that's when you want a spin of it. Now, as I said before, I'm doing everything at a slightly less intensity so I can talk. So when I do the cool down, I'll really be dropping. You can probably tell that at the moment, despite my best effort to reduce intensity and talk, I am now struggling a little bit. You can put that down for many things. I did this session yesterday to test it. It's a hot room. I'm unfit. But the truth is this. You put something in front of me and you tell me to work hard, and that's what I'm going to do. That's a little ridiculous when I'm here just spinning when you guys are working hard. Losing it a bit now, the old steering. Trying to get my car, which I've done. So 1.5 minutes, and then we're on our cool down 5. So those of us who've got distance meters, cadence meters, power meters, whatever, it's always interesting to see how far you've ridden. Today it looks like I'm probably going to ride about 20 kilometers. It's interesting in 2 ways. Because number one, when you talk about 20 kilometers and cycling, it's nothing unless you're doing downhill mountain biking. But on the other hand, you're inside. You're not allowed out, some of us. So 20 kilometers is a good one. And it's not about training long, it's about training smart. This session is 40 minutes. So those of us with kids, includes me, or commitments such as work, working nights, or just inflexible hours, or families, or busy social lives, whatever. When someone says in 10 seconds we're dropping down for the cool down, no one's going to say that. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then we're dropping down. So now we're going to spin for a cool down. So when someone says to you, or when you've got an hour, oh, I don't know if I can do anything in an hour on the bike. Really? You could do this session in 40 minutes, shower in 20, be down the boozer. Well, for me, those days are gone. Be in bed. In 20 minutes and an hour is a long, long time in cycling indoors. There's so much you could do in that time. Whether you do an hour session, I'm not the biggest fan of hour sessions on the turbo trainers. Number one, I get a dead bottom. But also, only 1 minute gone for the cool down. Number one, I get a dead bottom. But also, I think an hour static, staying still, I'm still going to motivate myself on my own, unless I've got a video on. I don't have Zwift, something I'm very interested in though. But so if I, for example, doing an hour session on the bike, I break it up always. So the other day I did an hour here on the turbo, stuck a movie on. I did 30 minutes just spinning like this, well, a bit faster. And then I did a 30-minute interval session. Well, actually, I did 20 minutes spin like this, then a 30-minute interval session, then 10-minute cool down. Kind of breaks it down a little bit. You can do some transition stuff as well. Things easier when you're in turbo, where every 20 minutes you can jump off, do a couple of press ups, do some sit-ups, whatever, get core work. It's a good way to break it up. Okay, 3 minutes to go. But for a session like this, 40 minutes, smash it out. Jump on the bike. And essentially, the reason you can have such a short warm-up is because realistically, the first 10 minutes are a warm-up. Although we say 5 minutes is spinning, and then you just coach into zone 3. realistically, you're warming up. It's only the middle section at 15, 20 minutes where you're bouncing between threshold and back. You really, really begin to feel it. The important thing of a cool down now is to get oxygen to the muscles. If you stop directly, there's going to be no oxygen to the working muscles. You're going to have lactic acid. I recommend as well, if you've got time, that you have a little stretch. If I don't stretch, I don't do sport for the next day. I'm an old man. So 2 minutes to go. Oh. Done 15.62 miles. Rod Ryan said it's like a bike bleed test. A bike bleed test. Not sure if I like that, but maybe it's something like a pattern. Okay. So, as before, you've still got 2 minutes to go. I thought I'd jump off. And do a little breakdown. So, this section, this whole point of this session is it gets faster and faster, or the intensity gets harder and harder, right until about 10 minutes before the end when you peak, and you do 4 minutes, really in the threshold, and 1 minute, super, super tough, okay? That session is 40 minutes start to front. You can make it longer or make it shorter, okay? I've written this session before for a group of people and done 10-minute blocks, okay? So 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Except the bit where we peak as an 8 and then a 2, okay? That is tough. That is horrific, to be quite frank with you, okay? It's a real good session to fit in quickly, okay? And obviously you build up, but that bit at the end, so after you've done your 4 minutes and then 1 minute flat out, okay? That bit at the end where you do a little zone 3 before you recover, that's the bit that raises your fitness, okay? Right, guys, so that should take you... Yeah, I've got exactly 40 minutes there. Okay, like I said, I jumped off a minute and a half early just to break it down. So all places to go. Guys, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this session. Likewise, if you've got any feedback or any sessions or anything you want to know, please give me a shout. I am trying to produce more content of training and so forth. Okay, and I'm really, really flexible to the people who want to do a session. So if you say, oh, look, I really like this pyramid session. Can you show me how to do this? I really like this interval session. Can you show me how to do this? Or Lewis, it's all terrible. What have you got? You know, it's up to you. I'm sure one day some of you might want to do a social ride or whatever. Where you're just sitting on there and you might be voice calling and just chatting away. Okay. For me, I lose concentration. I fall off. Okay. That's for their rollers. All right. But like I said, any feedback, please let me know. Please, I appreciate it, guys. If you're enjoying this as well, please do share it. I know some of you are. I mean, I'm not doing this for anything other than just enjoyment and to improve myself as a coach. Okay. So please, if you like it, please share it and please direct people my way. Okay. I know I don't come across it, but I'm actually really, really friendly. Guys, thanks for joining me. I hope to see you soon. I'm going to try and stream again over the next 4 days. I'm sorry, like with bike issues and various things, I'm struggling. But next week, we'll be back on the Tuesday and Thursday stream. Okay. So I'm going to try and stream between now and Monday. Okay. And then we're going to do the Tuesday and Thursday stream. Okay. Like I said, if you got any requests, please let me know. Guys, I hope to see you soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.